All right. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Carrie Drinkwine, and our topic of conversation today is what the heck is liquid light? So if you've been hearing about liquid light, you've been hearing about all of the different things online, I'm here to explain all of it to you today. And just a brief bit about myself. If you don't know me personally, I'm extremely passionate about operating in the field of regenerative health, which to me means that we activate our body's own internal wisdom and essentially come back to source, back to our body's ability to self-repair. And so everything I teach, everything I do comes from that space, and everything I support must align with that scientifically as well. I am the owner of Wise Wellness Holistic Clinic, where I'm at right now in Minneapolis, Minnesota, as well as the Institute of Regenerative Health, where I train and certify regenerative health practitioners globally. So we have graduated 250 practitioners in the last 2 years, and are enrolling hundreds more as the time comes. And I'm so excited to introduce this liquid light or this modality to you today, because it has been so transformative in my life. And the science is beyond measure. Really, science is on our side. And if we can just have everybody mute, that would be amazing. Cindy, you can just keep track of the mute all button if you want to do that for me. But muted myself. So let's dive into what is liquid light and what does this have to do with the human body and how the human body functions. So how I'd like to begin is actually giving you a regenerative health view. First of all, what is regenerative health? Regenerative health, in my opinion and my experience in clinically and also as an educator, is the body's own ability to repair itself. We were designed to do that, but something has happened along the way. And we have been exposed to a high level of toxins, pesticides, chemicals, carcinogens in our environment, as well as our bodies and our lives are so fast paced. There's people that experience traumas and different things in their life that start to affect our cells. And I always say the issues are in the tissues. And so in regenerative health, we really focus on the terrain. And what that means is the environment within. The environment that surrounds all of your tissues and your cells is actually what is going to affect your cells. So when you are essentially, we focus on genetics a lot in society and in Western medicine, but the work of epigenetics actually tells us and scientifically proves that our genetic makeup is really determining less than 5% of our actual outcome of health. Less than 5%. But we often rely on this. Oh, it's genetic. My grandpa had it. It's genetic. My mom has it. And it's such a crutch. And so one of my favorite sayings that Carrie Tidwell shared with me, and she's on this call today, is genetics loads the gun and lifestyle pulls the trigger. And that's 100% true. We have the ability and the power to change the trajectory of our wellness. And we can either, I always say, regenerate the tissue or deepen the issue. Those are our options. And so today I'm going to be talking to you about how liquid light or molecular hydrogen is really what we're talking about today, has the capability to regenerate the human body and to put you into an environment of more homeostasis as we start to focus on a little bit of that. So without further ado, I'm actually going to share my screen today. And I am going to give you a tiny bit of a presentation that I just was able to give in Madeira and talk to you about molecular hydrogen is really what we are talking about when it comes to liquid light. So molecular hydrogen is really what I want to focus on today. And this is about the liquid light within the bottle. If you saw my Instagram story, I was holding a bottle. And I'm going to break down all of the aspects of that, but I want to give you a regenerative health perspective. So like I just explained, regenerative health is all about being able to regenerate the body and the tissues at the cellular level. We are comprised of approximately 75 trillion cells and 2 fluids. So we have blood and we have lymph. And we also have a multitude of other fluids like cerebral spinal fluid and various fluids that dictate and regulate how our body functions. But the major part is blood and lymph. So the blood feeds all of our glands and our organs, and the lymph cleans all of our glands and our organs. And this is very, very imperative to understand. Every single cell in our body is impacted by the environment that is within and surrounding the cell. So if you have an environment around your cell that is very dirty, essentially think of dirty bath water, right? You want to take a bath, you're going to put clean water in the bath. You don't take a bath in the same dirty water over and over. The reason for that is you won't get clean eventually, right? So the environment that surrounds your cells is deeply impacting your health. And our body is estimated to be around 70% water. However, every single cell is actually composed of over 99% water. And we are 75 trillion cells. So my hair, my skin, my organs, same with yours, are all made of cells. So in a way, it's safe to say that we are actually about 99% water. So this should go to tell you how incredibly important water is inside of the human body. Water is a very, very crucial role in the body. And this is some of the things I want to explain is its importance in the electric potential of the human body. So I won't be following these slides completely because I like to go off the cuff quite a bit. But water transports nutrients and oxygen to the cells within and between the cells. So if we don't have enough water, we can't transport nutrients. So if you're doing a really good job in eating a really nutritious diet, you actually can't transport enough of those nutrients if you don't have enough living water within the body. It's also a major component of your blood, which carries nutrients to the cells and removes waste. So like I said, the blood feeds and the lymph cleans. This is a very, very big piece of the blood being able to actually nourish every single cell in your body. It converts food into energy. This is important. So if we don't have enough water, how do we convert what we ate into actual energy, or ATP, known as adenosine triphosphate? So water actually protects and provides cushion to all of our organs. And if we don't have proper water intake, our cells cannot receive proper nutrition, especially things like minerals, conversion of sugars. And eventually we have something that is called apoptosis, which is cellular death or cellular decline in the body. And it's essential for all of the transport of every nutrient within the body. So our bodies are intelligently designed to self-repair, like I explained. And we are inundated with EMFs. Like, how are we all on this amazing call together? I see we're rising towards 70 people on the call. We basically get exposed to EMFs, chemical pesticides, and over rapidly paced lifestyle. And something that happens is what's called ROS, reactive oxygen species. Now, this is a good thing. For example, I lift weights almost daily, 6 days a week, and I also do hot yoga. I am absolutely producing some stress in my body when I do that, right? So my body is going to produce some reactive oxygen species and some oxidative stress. So it's not all bad. I'm going to have stress in the body, but after my workout, I need to reduce that stress, right? So we have oxidation and reduction. And this balance is very, very important inside the body. I think it is safe to say that all illness or imbalance, we'll use those words, comes from an improper level of reductant and oxidative balance. We have too much oxidation or too much oxidative stress and not enough of the reduction happening. And when we have heightened levels of oxidative stress, we actually start the process of cellular decline. We also see advanced cellular aging and the pathogenesis of illness. So I want to give you a PG version of the cell really quick. A PG version of the cell is essentially that every single one of your cells must produce ATP. So ATP is adenosine triphosphate, every single one of your cells. Inside the cell, it's called the mitochondria. The mitochondria is what produces this ATP. So low energy output is actually going to create a low energy process for every single gland, organ, tissue, and cell. So for example, if I eat a really poor meal, it's going to yield a very low ATP. There's not a lot my body has to work with. When I have a low ATP, all my cells don't function as well. This is I'm tired, I need coffee, right? I'm reaching for energy. But when I have a high level of ATP, you feel good, you want to go for a run or whatever it is, but you have energy in your cells, you have vitality, you have life force in your cells. The other thing to know about this is the higher level of ATP that you have in your cells, the stronger your cell is. So that means it has cytoprotective capabilities. It means its ability to prevent and protect itself against pathogens, parasites, pesticides, microbes from making it intracellular is significantly higher. So ATP is very, very important, and it regulates everything from digestion to absorption to utilization, elimination, your overall energy, your sleep patterns, and beyond. So when we have a low ATP or a chronic terrain imbalance, we just start to see a lot of cell damage. And this is when you start to see neurological decline, brain fog, fatigue, body pain, even eye vision. All these sorts of things are just signs of low ATP and imbalance in the body. So molecular hydrogen is what I'm talking about with liquid light today, and I will go into a little bit of a deeper explanation towards the end. But hydrogen, I've been researching for quite a while, and it wasn't until recently that I actually found a hydrogen that worked, or a system that essentially worked. So hydrogen has this very unique ability to penetrate the cell. It is the smallest molecule or atom in the world, and it's also the original one that created all of us and all of life itself. So I like to call this back to source. We are coming back to source. It can penetrate every cell. It can cross through the blood-brain barrier. And that really important ATP, that mitochondrial function I just talked to you about, this is where it works the most. Molecular hydrogen can enter into the cell and start upregulating the mitochondrial function. This is the power plant of the cell. So when we increase the energy of the cell, we increase our ability and our resistance to illness. Now, we also hydrogen begins to manage the balance of the reactive oxygen species. So this is incredible for athletes, people like me that do create oxidative stress every single morning. And also people have high stress lifestyles, and also anybody that breathes air and lives in the United States, right? Or really anywhere in the world. But we have reactive oxygen species upregulated in our body. And so it has this ability to reduce your oxidative stress, and which is the main cause of all illness. So when we are looking at hydrogen and molecular hydrogen, now what I want to say about this is it is one of the most well-researched things. So if you actually go look up molecular hydrogen, you will find thousands of published studies, and science is behind this 100%. The National Institute of Health, so many articles I can share with you all on the benefits of molecular hydrogen. This is not new information. However, it's been quite difficult to produce a therapeutic level of molecular hydrogen and be able to stabilize it. So that information will be coming to you in a moment. But essentially, it is this miracle molecule that can balance and downregulate stressors and help maintain and retain a healthy cell function. The other thing I love about molecular hydrogen is its ability to upregulate NRF2 pathway. This is the pathway, it's called a cytoprotective pathway, a fancy word for it protects the cell. And that is fabulous. It protects the integrity of the cell. It also protects the communication in between the cells. So the NRF2 pathways, I actually have a video on that separately I can leave for you guys later. But a little bit about it is it's actually called a nuclear factor erythroid 2 related factor 2. That's the long scientific terminology, but it's a transcription factor that literally activates over 500 genes. So in a roundabout way, because molecular hydrogen activates this pathway, it also has the ability to activate and influence gene expression. So if you are going to express your genes in a healthy way or an unhealthy way, hydrogen has the ability to intervene and create a healthy response in the body. The NRF2 pathway is really controlling gene expression, as well as the expression of how our proteins work and how well you detoxify, how well you eliminate ROS from the body and oxidative stress. So pretty amazing stuff. And what I love about this is how simple it is. So I'm going to move on from that so I don't go too deep into science, but the cell signaling is the most important. When you activate this NRF2 pathway, you create more antioxidant proteins. Now, I'm not talking like you're drinking something that's an antioxidant, because that actually is not scientifically proven that it can actually regulate an antioxidant effect in the body, but hydrogen can. Hydrogen is considered to be the most powerful antioxidant in the world. And that is amazing to see. So this is essential for battling injury and inflammation. And I want to give you just a small example of inflammation and what it does. If I walk into a room and I hit my knee on a table, I'm going to get inflamed, right? That inflammation is called acute inflammation, and it's highly beneficial to my cells. It floods extra blood, extra lymph, white blood cells to that area to protect it and to heal it. But if I keep hitting my knee every day, that turns to chronic inflammation. Most people are walking around with chronic inflammation in their body. Head to toe inflamed. That means swollen, retaining excess fluids, lack of proper communication, and chronic inflammation is the main pathogenesis of disease, essentially. So every single cell in our body is affected by ATP and the mitochondria. So when the NRF2 pathway comes in, it is found most abundantly in the liver and in the kidneys. Although it is found in every cell in the body, it starts to regulate these responses. It starts to downregulate inflammation. It starts to downregulate oxidative stress just through drinking what we are calling liquid light. So increases antioxidant proteins. This is some of the benefits of hydrogen. It decreases inflammation, increases cellular function and detoxification, controls healthy gene expression, regulates your ROS. It regulates the physiological and the pathophysiological outcomes of oxidant exposure, repairs cell damage, manages weight. And I have a personal testimonial on this. It helps combat insulin resistance, it improves blood oxygenation, and it regulates gene expression, like I mentioned. So when we are looking at this, what we're seeing essentially is the wisdom of the body coming back into play. The wisdom of the body has been reactivated. And I personally have an experience with this where I eat extremely well. I exercise all the time. The only thing I changed was adding molecular hydrogen water into my body, and I lost a significant amount of weight. And it was very interesting to see. Now, that is not making a claim like you're going to lose weight if you take this. Every body has a different response, right? Every personal body. Some people may gain weight if they need to gain weight because what's happening is the absorption is getting better, right? And what happened in my body was, I don't know. I just lost like 13, 14, 15 pounds, something like that. And it has stayed off. So it's been amazing to see that. My energy has increased. My skin's gotten better. My hair has gotten better. Just so many different things have changed for me. And all I've done is change the type of water that I'm drinking. So we're going to not talk about NRF2 anymore. This is a presentation I did in Madeira. So I'm just offering you guys a little bit of this information now. We already talked about how it's the most powerful antioxidant. And here's the biggest benefit. It is the only antioxidant that can be fully absorbed in the body. It's absorbed by every cell and your skin cells. So when you see this, like Nuno likes to like take hydrogen water, and right now I'm just trying. This is his old bottle. I've had this for many months, but it's making hydrogen right now. After, you can pour it on your hand, rub it on, and then check the other hand, and they have completely different textures in a very short period of time. We're talking 30 seconds to a minute. The hydrogen is actually penetrating the skin, unlike everything else, because the molecule size is too large. This is very, very important. So I'm going to stop my share for a minute just to talk to you all about how incredible this is, how groundbreaking this is. But the biggest thing I want to mention is why we're different, right? So their molecular hydrogen is not new. And there's a plethora of molecular hydrogen bottles on the market, as well as devices. So what I want to share with you today is we know that science is on our side. We know that molecular hydrogen is incredibly therapeutic. It's a miracle molecule for sure. We don't make any scientific claims whatsoever. Just want to put that out there. However, science is on our side in this event. But what is out there, what is existing in the field, has been very difficult to actually produce therapeutic levels of molecular hydrogen. With therapeutic levels of molecular hydrogen, the problem is hydrogen is a very free molecule. It just likes to go. So if it's not captured, it's very hard to capture and to contain. So people that are using hydrogen tablets, all these things that are putting them into water, within 90 seconds, that hydrogen's gone. And it's out in the air, and you're trying to chug it quickly. And even these, I will say, Nuno has done a lot of testing on a lot of the bottles that are on the market and capsules, and they are producing little to no detectable hydrogen, which is crazy because people are trusting in the advertisement. They're trusting in, this device, and they're essentially wasting their money. And so let's transition into Nuno Nina. Who is Nuno Nina? Nuno Nina is an amazing inventor and creator. He is the owner of Integrative Medicine Clinic in Lisbon, and at one point owned over 77 clinics that he has helped people repair their bodies through the power of molecular hydrogen and frequency. He is also the co-creator of Time Waiver Frequency, one of the most advanced frequency devices in the world. As well as a multitude of other inventions that I've been able to personally see in his clinic. He is a genius. He is essentially the modern day Einstein, Nikola Tesla. I mean, all of this wrapped into one. I think it's safe to say he's probably the most brilliant person I've ever met in my life. And the difference with Nuno and anybody else is that he can see these frequencies. He can actually see the vibration in the body, which is a very unique blessing and a curse in a way. In my first experience meeting Nuno, he was able to walk up to me and tell me where I had two things wrong in my body, and he was right on both of them. One I was aware of and one I wasn't aware of, and I went and got it checked, and I was like, wow. So this is the power of what we have here, is the deeper understanding of how hydrogen works in the body, and the person that has the deep clinical experience. So Nuno has put it as his life's work to really get this information into the world. And that's what we're doing. And so liquid light has just kind of been coined because literally what we're putting essentially in this bottle, I'm going to share my screen and another screen here, is so different than anything that exists. So with that said, I'm going to share here. All right. So this is CELLPOWER water. I have the old version of the CELLPOWER water. All of our new bottles will be coming very, very soon. But this is an actual device. We were calling it a vitality vessel for a while. We can't think of a name because it's so much more than a water bottle. That is not what this is. This device is groundbreaking science. So what we have here is a molecular hydrogen vitality vessel, bottle, device, whatever you want to call it. But it has multimodality functions. And here is the thing that people need to understand. When producing molecular hydrogen, how you do it is through a process of what's called electrolysis. Electrolysis is a very dirty process. It's actually where you're creating an electrical charge to a liquid to create a biochemical change. We need to increase the hydrogen that's in the water. So we have to create an electrical current, and we have to separate the hydrogen from the oxygen. So that's called the anode and the cathode. The cathode is the hydrogen side and the anode is the oxygen side. During this process, we actually start to produce lots of other byproducts, products that aren't necessarily healthy to consume. And this is a big problem because you're not just getting hydrogen, you're getting lots of other things. We'll just put it that way. So there needs to be a very unique membrane that can actually remove these contaminants. And that is what Nuno has created. Is we have a 3 rich phase formula. We have a 3-minute, 6-minute, or 9-minute to make molecular hydrogen. But at the same time, we have what's called a proton exchange membrane that is working to remove the byproducts and release it into a chamber that's released out of the bottle so that you aren't consuming any of these harmful byproducts. In addition to that, when you're doing electrolysis, this process of electrolysis, most people are using a very high, a high frequency essentially. So ours is very low. And this is the problem. When we produce molecular hydrogen, what has happened is that the pH of the water changes. The pH means potential for hydrogen. And this is essentially where alkaline water was birthed from. In an attempt, if everybody can just mute as well, in an attempt of trying to produce molecular hydrogen, there was an increase in pH, and therefore we produced alkaline water. And I'm here to tell you today that alkaline water is actually not beneficial to our gut and to our overall wellness. And I will go into a deeper conversation on that. I could do a call next week. But we are looking to maintain pH in the water the whole time. And that means that there needs to be a very low voltage. So our voltage was 1.8, and we've actually moved it up just to 2.2. So the voltage is 2.2, 2.3 in order to actually produce therapeutic levels of molecular hydrogen without changing the pH of the water. So the pH stays exactly the same. And the levels of molecular hydrogen that we're producing is between 1.4 and 1.6. So it's quite high and therapeutic. So that is what's so special about our molecular rich hydrogen water. In addition to the membrane, that proton exchange membrane that I talked to you about, I'll put together a little video soon, but basically the best membrane in the world that exists, we can rip it in half with our hands. And that was done live in our event in Madeira. The membrane that Nuno has produced, it was impossible. Multiple people tried to rip it, couldn't do it, could not tear the membrane apart. The quality of this membrane is so incredibly important that you aren't getting contaminants and that you are having a high quality device that is going to last for years. Second to that, the electrodes that are going into the process of producing the anode and the cathode and producing the molecular hydrogen, these need to be coated. And the reason is because otherwise you can very easily leach metals into your water. And we have looked at a multitude of bottles that are on the market that will remain nameless, that are not coated, that are not safe either. So this level of safety and care is extremely important, that you're not creating harm inside the human body. And that is never what we want to do. And I will take questions at the end. So the third feature of this bottle, we have molecular hydrogen, is also we have a magnet in the base that is mimicking the magnetic field of the Earth's core. This is amazing. So we essentially have the Earth in a bottle. If you saw the slide for today, it was the Earth in a bottle. So we have the magnetic field of the Earth in the base. And then in the lid, there's the frequencies of the sun. And this is what the Lumi Vitae is called, excuse me, the light of life. So light of life, it's actually, when you think of what the sun does to food, it brings the life into food. When we pick a food off the tree, at that moment, it has the most energy it could ever have. Once it goes into a warehouse truck in the back of the store, to the front of the store, to your table, it has lost quite a lot of its vitality. Well, this unique frequencies of the sun in the lid can reactivate that life in your raw living foods. So this is a multi-function device. It's not only bringing the frequencies of the sun into your water, but it's also able to unscrew and activate food as well. So this is an incredible feature of the device. And then we also have chromotherapy, which is just for us. It doesn't do anything to the water. It's just beautiful to look at. It's nice. It's more aesthetic. It's really involving all your senses. But this is the amazing power of the CELLPOWER bottle created by Nuno Nina. It is a device. It is the earth in the bottle. And essentially it is liquid light because we're bringing the frequencies of light from the sun into the water, and the therapeutic benefits inside the body are essentially lighting up your cells and activating your cells to self-repair themselves. So we have something so incredible. And the next slide I want to explain scientifically to you is quite important here. So this here is the 3 different essential features that are produced by our hydrogen bottle specifically. And this is very, very important. Now, we recommend clean water. This is not a water filter. It's not possible to get all of these features plus a filter into one bottle yet, maybe in the future. So clean water is important. And we recommend not ingesting alkaline water, but to have natural spring water that is a pH of 7 or below. Nuno's actually preferred is 4.2 to 6.2. Digestive wise, the reason is your gut needs to be highly acidic. We actually need our gut to be a 1.8 to a 2.4 pH. Maintaining that pH is very, very important, not just to your gastric juices and your digestive power, but also to the electromagnetic components in the communication for the tissue to actually create peristalsis. As a clinician, I hate to say this, but the sickest people I have come in are people that are drinking high levels of alkaline water. And that is because the gut has been destroyed by this, and we are diluting our natural gastric juices. Now, I'll go into the deep science of that another time. I have some short videos that I've already created that I'm happy to drop into the chat at the end of this for you to watch at a different time. But the ratios of this is very important. So pH means parts hydrogen or potential for hydrogen. So the pH is very important, that it is stable and that it is staying the same, which ours does because of the low voltage that we're using. The next part is the RH2. And so RH2 is really important because RH2 measures the number of electrons in the water. And this essentially is telling us the importance of the balance between oxidants and reductants. And so our RH2 levels is less than 8. This is what is maintained. Pretty much these results will vary based on the type of water that you put in, but this is tested with essentially LUSO water, LUSSO, which is considered to be one of the best spring waters in the world. Now, the next thing is the ORP, and the ORP is the oxidation reduction potential. It's essentially the ability of a substance or a liquid to reduce any harmful contaminants or components. So a positive ORP reading means that the substance is oxidating, right? It's an oxidating agent, which would be oxidative stress. We don't want that. A negative reading indicates that the substance has a reducing agent. So we produce a negative ORP between -600 and -400. And these ratios being balanced is so incredibly important to the therapeutic outcome of the water. So this is our bottle. This is liquid light in a bottle. Right now, these are the 2 colors that we have, is gold and black. And this is one of many things that are coming down the pipeline. I will stop my share momentarily here, but this is the first step, we believe, into accessible human wellness for everyone. And the reason is it's activating your own wisdom. It's everybody drinks water. Absolutely everyone drinks water. So if we can change our water to therapeutic, balanced molecular hydrogen water, we can see health benefits for everyone. Without making scientific claims, you can see health benefits for everyone because science is on our side, and we are the only ones that have produced anything like this level of measurable therapeutic molecular hydrogen, as well as the quality of the proton exchange membrane, as well as the magnetic frequencies of the earth, as well as the frequencies from the sun in the lid. There is nothing like this on the market, and it is truly, truly so transformative. The last thing I want to share is just seeing such measurable differences within myself and my hydration saturation. So I felt like I was a very hydrated person. I ate living foods. I did drink water, but my hydration was never at 100. It was 84, it was 89. And now I see full hydration at 100% in my body. And that is incredible to see. So I'm also seeing some differences in my clients that have been, regular coming in and getting molecular hydrogen water. We're starting to see big differences in what's called their bioenergetic terrain analysis. And so their terrain is starting to change as well, just through the power of the water. So that is what I wanted to share to you about what is Liquid Light. This is Liquid Light in a bottle. The new bottles are coming. We are in pre-launch right now. Lumivitae, Light of Life is the overarching company. We will have a multitude of products and things coming out. This is the very first of many. And we are really on a mission to create a conscious billion-dollar company that's going to change the trajectory of the health and wellness field. Because we believe that really putting money into the right hands of the right places is what's truly going to transform the world. Next to come, we have so much coming. We have, I'll leave that in the background, but there's a lot more coming, like molecular hydrogen stabilized pouches, which again, science says that it cannot be produced, that it's impossible to stabilize molecular hydrogen. Nuno has not only done it, but he has hydrogen pouches in his clinic right now that I've seen that have been there for 5 years, and they still have 90 to 95% of their therapeutic molecular hydrogen. So we will see these hydrogen pouches be in every gym, every med spa as we grow, including hydrogen capsules that will be ingested, not poured in water, that activate with the cells in the body. And there's an entire skincare molecular hydrogen line coming. So much is coming from Lumivitae, this Light of Life company, and so many powerful entrepreneurs, thought leaders, doctors have come into this space and said yes to this powerful, powerful mission. So I wanted to present this to you as an opportunity to really take your own sovereignty over your health and to be able to have this for yourself. But also, if you're interested in sharing it with others, we have a very simple affiliate business plan, or you're able to build a big business if you desire. So our affiliate is, if you get your bottle, you can become an affiliate, and it's that simple. There are no minimums, there are no nothing. It's just you have a link and you can share it with others. It's really that simple. The first tier right now, as we are in pre-launch, the first tier is 25% commission. So that means somebody that I shared my link directly with Nicole, and looking at you in the thing here, I receive 25% commission. If she shares it with somebody, I receive 5% commission. And that 5% will start to unlock down 8 layers as you move through the compensation plan. And I'm not going to do a big compensation plan training today, because my whole point was to explain the science behind molecular hydrogen, how it's beneficial, and why we're different than anything that exists on the market. So thank you so much, everybody, for your time.